Okay, so I just put the skull top in over the top of this base, plenty of room to leave up on top. And if I wanted to cut this chin off and actually do a jaw and make him talk, we could, but there's plenty of room to leave that for the sculpt, for the epoxy sculpt. So I just marked where his eyeballs are on there to make sure that this is centered up properly. And I'm just going to scoop out some eye sockets. And I'm misplaced my X-Acto blade that has a better handle than this wobbly thing. Would be nice to have right now. But make sure there's plenty of room in the cavity to set the eyes into the skull and then build up eyelids over the top of them. It's easy to make the eyeballs poking out of the skull on accident. And if we leave enough room, where did I set my eyeballs down at? Oh, there we go. Then we can look at this from the side view, right? And see where the eye is. Make sure that these eyes are going to sit in there nicely. And even like the bridge of the nose, I could probably just carve out that whole thing. Let's do that. And that way I can just sculpt back in the bridge of the nose as needed. And really, this is probably the most challenging part I usually have with doing these sculptures, is getting the eyes set in right the first time. And then I push one in just a tiny bit more than the other, and I go back and forth and have to stick a tool behind him and push him back forward again. It's really annoying. So try and get this right the first time, and because you don't want to, these are glass, you don't want to scoop them in and out. But yeah, we'll take our time with that and make sure that they're evenly set, that they're not crooked, they're not tilted, and all that good stuff. So we'll come back to that though. I want to glue this thing together first. Make sure that the skull is set in to the design. Looks like I still got to scoop the bottom of that skull off by quite a bit there. That's what I did put it upside down on accident, so make sure I don't cut through all my good paper. Again, carving. Yeah, see it still shatters on the back by pressing too hard, not letting the blade do its work. There it goes. That's probably better. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and bevel any sharp edges. Yeah, there we go. I took my time there and let the blade cut through. So just kind of saw. Rather than pushing, I'm concentrating more on the sawing action as they go. All right, that's yeah, looks pretty good. Could probably set the eye sockets in even a little bit more. Maybe trim the back of that skull off a little bit, little point right there. And once I get it on there, I'm going to continue to carve at it and make sure that it's smaller than it needs to be, so I could put the epoxy sculpt over the top of it, because that's what we're going to do the detail sculpting with the epoxy. It's 1 to 3 hours set. So again, make sure you're in a good spot where it's not going to get bumped or whatever as you're working. So let's grab the Dremel and a little tool and drill out the sides inside it. So rather impatiently, this is still soft, so I have to be really careful. But I want to get this going, so make sure this goes in the front, and then this goes in. Make sure I do these correct this time. That, so what we'll need is a recess for the wire to sit inside of there. Right, so we'll do the recess in the front. going to be easiest. So be really careful. There we go. Should be close enough. Take our pen, mark. Just want to carve that a little space. If there's a little extra room, it's okay. We're going to use the JB Weld and really goo it in there nice. So I'm going to go off camera. I'm just going to drill that channel out here and here with the Dremel, and I'll be right back. Okay, that took a while to cure. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the Magic Sculpt in the upper arms, the forearm, the shins, and the femur as well. Now there's a lot of twist that happens in the forearm, so maybe I'm not going to put as much in there. Maybe I'll put some on the upper arm to allow some of that flex. Otherwise, you put a lot of stress on the wrists with the hands swiveling back and forth. So had some out already. Again, being careful to keep the white Magic Sculpt unmixed part separate from the mixed part. That's going to be enough for now. I can always get more. Oh, shoot. Yeah, try not to drop it on the floor if you got cats. Cat hair. Sorry, you got to see that on camera, but I got to get that off. All right. Cool. So let's mix these bad boys up. I suppose, yeah, it takes a minute or two, but I'll just let the camera run. Since we're getting close to the best part of actually building this thing up and sculpting the face and the hands and the feet, which is super, just incredibly fun. I know some people don't enjoy this fabrication part as much, but it is dirty and messy and all that. But let me just say that your sculpture will be so much better. Your designs are so much better if you understand the step in the process and you're able to functionally build your armature. So it it's kind of like being a digital artist, and if you know how to 3D model, but you don't know how to rig or animate or do any of the technical part whatsoever, you're nerfed. You know, you're kind of limited. You're very limited in what you can do. And anymore, the tools become so robust that it's good to know as many steps in the process as possible to be. It used to be a big argument to be a specialist or a generalist, and I think more and more with AI, it's becoming pretty obvious that becoming a generalist, a jack of all trades, like be a man. Don't you want to know how? You know, if you think elephants are cool and you want to 3D model an elephant, don't you also want to know how it moves and what the skeleton is like and how the foot of an elephant works and how in the heck their trunks work? I mean, I just can't imagine being an artist designer and not being curious enough to really want to know that stuff. So I'm just, you know, I have skulls everywhere. I got like little turtle skulls. I got a little weasel skull. Like, whatever I can afford, I go out and grab. And, you know, in my seasoned years, nice way of saying it, in my old age, I've just become an absolute animal, beast of one to know a little bit about dang near everything. So, yeah, just kind of yapping my jaws here while I mix those two sides. And I have this little the foam. I'm going to put the JB Weld on there later, but just making sure I know the elbow bend's pretty clear. So usually what I do is I take the two halves, roll a couple noodles, and do each half one at a time. So I think for the bicep, I'm just going to squeeze that on there, make sure it's not too high up. Shoulders, the shoulder, the hips, and the wrists and ankles, you want to make sure you're really, really careful as to how much how close to the joint you're getting with the Magic Sculpt. Try and make them as even as I can as I go. There we go. And a couple little noodles, trying to keep the quantities roughly equal, not to be super precise. And go to the back side here. And we're just putting some on there so it doesn't bend. So it's nice and stiff. And I might need, that might not be enough. And you want to get it in the threads, right? So you really want to squish, squish. And it's stickier than the steel stick. So you'll find it easier to work with in that respect. But, it's also, its stickiness makes it kind of difficult to work with sometimes too. I mean, keep that away from the elbow. Keep that away from the elbow. So, if it's sticking to the glove, you got to switch out your gloves, let it cure on the glove, then put on a fresh pair of gloves and try and extend the life of my gloves by reusing the one that has the dried Magic Sculpt on there. It's all right. You don't want to get it on your skin though. So yeah, wear gloves. There we go. Pretty sweet. We're getting there. Okay, do another equal parts. Maybe I'll mix a little more this time since that's pretty fast. Right, so now I can kind of gauge how fast it cures or stiffens up the working time. And we'll do the forearms, we'll do the upper leg and the lower leg. So squish, squish, squish. And thinking also, does anything need to attach to the skeleton? So if you're going to have like partial wings, like bat wings coming off, if you're going to have a sideboard part, if you want to get more of if you want to get some brass stock pieces cut up and have something that comes off and on, now's a good time to attach it to the actual armature if you want something that's really solid. So twist, 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 squish, 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 twist, 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 squish, squish, twist, squish. Get it going. And when we do the epoxy sculpt, when we bring this out and start sculpting the face, we're going to mix it up and then you get 1 to 3 hours working time. So you can kind of relax a little with your tools. And remember, you can still grind it and do other stuff with it. And there it goes. I can feel it heating up. And I can see that marbling is gone. So it's lots of twists. Make sure the little crumblies are captured. They're in my good vellum. Oh no, not in my beautiful vellum drawing. One of these days, I'll eventually get away from all the design and mechanical and assembly and concept drawings and actually get to finish a full painted illustration. It's been a while since I afforded the time to that. So let's take half of that first. There we go. And go to the forearm. So and take halves. Try and keep my little balls about equal. Okay. And then we can take those and we can cut those in half. I could just tear them in half, but I'm just kind of being a little more precise using my cutting table here while I got it. And lift that up, making sure things aren't sticking to my drawing too much. And put some there. And that might be enough just to now forearm on there. Sure, I'm kind of got it equal parts, and then come over to the other forearm. Maybe come the other side. And kind of pull it back from that wrist. Right, got to give it enough coils of the thread to effectively animate. Go just pinch it around the back side. Okay. Pinch, pinch, come around the back, go, and just double check the elbow area is free. And again, I can kind of, I'll fine tune this with the tool as it stiffens up. That's pretty good. Set it down there. That's up off the surface. It's not going to stick to the surface, not just yet anyway. And rip a few more pieces here. And maybe extend the front, the bicep a little bit. Like I said, a little bit of anatomy. Doesn't hurt. And then do the back of the tricep. Go. Kind of blend in. Man, it sticks to itself really good. That is cool. Kind of bring that up. Keep pushing it away. It'll have plenty of flexibility. Okay, let's do the legs. So I'm going to just go for it. The rest of this. Why not? Let's not. Let's see. Shoot, am I getting my pieces mixed up? Oh man, I hope not. Okay, let's just mix the whole thing. Probably not the best idea, but the other one was mixed just a few more minutes more than the whole, so I think it'll mix okay. But yeah, you want like an even curing whenever possible. You see, it's sticking to my glove pretty good. Better than my skin. Go. I remember the first time I used this, I made a giant mask, and I had my daughters mix up like half a vat of this, and I made the full mask with articulation out of the Magic Sculpt. So it is great stuff, and it is awesome for doing skeletal, hard surface, crustaceans, bony, insectoids, beasts, horns. But you can also sand it and get like a really beautiful finish. But for that, I do tend to like the epoxy better, which I haven't used in a very long time. So I'm looking forward to trying that. The Cos clay I've been playing with, the Monster Clay wax. You've seen in the other videos, I hope. So there we go. Let's take a few balls of that, and let's see if I can prop him up a bit. And we'll do the front of the leg first. Make sure there's plenty space above the knee. There we go. Okay, kind of tuck it around the sides. Get it in those threads, good. Let it bind tight. And pinch and squeeze around the back side. It goes. And keep squeezing and pressing till I feel gets really gotten into those threads. And then even after I'm sure it's gotten into those threads, I go back and squeeze and press some more. Let me bring the arms out a little. Be careful. Not bending, that's probably a bad move, but gonna be hard to do the legs while the arms are carrying, so I can maybe, it's really gummy though, sticky, so I can definitely go back in and squish some more. Okay, should be still standing up reasonably well on his own. Go. Okay, grab a few more pieces and do the lower leg. So yeah, I like to get it started all the way around. It cures a bit and then bulk up as needed. Make sure I'm far, far away from the knee. See that part of the thigh there might be a little closer than I'd like. But you're never going to see this unless you design. And so who cares what it looks like? The artist in you will care. Ha ha ha. You will know what's in there. Yeah, who cares, man? Let it go. Let it go and have fun. Move faster. Move on to the stuff that truly matters, the stuff that you can see and hear and feel. You'll feel it when you're animating it as a stop motion animator, so maybe that's not entirely true. But yeah, you'll feel the way the puppets were built and designed. So you kind of, there is a definite tactile element to this that's pretty awesome. That face down a little bit. There we go. And now I can keep pushing in the back of the calf, underneath there, around the back. Spread it out evenly, taper it maybe, leave it a little bulkier in the middle. And we can add a little extra on the back of the calf. Oh, there we go. And give them some more to both the front and back of the thigh. So that one, I'll just kind of lay these on. Maybe I did mix too much, so, you know, bummer I wasted a bit of my magic sculpt, but it's not, it's about half the price of the epoxy. And then when I was sculpting D&D miniatures back in the day, we used green stuff. Green stuff by weight is super expensive. If any of you done Warhammer, a lot of people learn to use green stuff doing Warhammer stuff. Um, okay, so let me set that down. Go back to the front of the legs. I'm going to save myself a little piece off to the side here. Boy, I sure hope I mixed all that up good. The down side of using Magic Sculpt White. If you're not careful enough, you can accidentally apply unmixed Magic Sculpt. And there we go. It's getting a little closer. Bring it down. Make sure those hips are got some room to flex. And not really worried about the hamstring or any of the muscles. I am double checking that the knees are left open. Probably at the hip region up here, I probably could have left if that was up higher like that. Maybe more space could be left there, so I'm going to just pull down, and you can't see, let's see if we get here, pull down and taper that, maybe bulk up too. And now he's got a bit of weight to him. The Magic Sculpt, like I said, isn't light. And make sure I got plenty of room down by the ankles too, evenly. Yeah, there's some parts from the back there that wasn't really evenly applied. Excuse me. And back of the thigh. There we go. Yeah. Top of the foot. I think I'm gonna put some more on the arch here, and then maybe above the big toes. See how much I have left here. Quite a bit. Yeah, it's stiffening up now. So that work time is closer to maybe 20 minutes. So it's 45 minutes to an hour. But if you're really moving, not a lot of times. Right here at the top of the foot, the arch with the bolt there. I'm going to go ahead and add a little top to the arch of that foot for grabsies purposes, so to speak. Cover the top of that bolt over a little bit. And careful not to push it down um, into the threads, right? So looking at it from underneath should be fine. I'll double check when I'm done. And then go back to the other arch. And this is just because it kind of needed it. So it needs a little extra top there, I thought, and pinch it up, that little ridge that goes up into the, and we're leaving it away from the, be careful, leave it away from the ankle. I want the ankle to bend a lot. And then a bit more, I'm going to put some on the top of the big toe. Here, I'm going to do like a little knuckle there, which maybe isn't entirely necessary, but just to help with the grabbing and bending process. So I'm going to go right here and I'm going to roll a little piece and stick it on there. So again, I hope you don't have toes at all because it was that's why the reason why I hadn't recorded a toe thing in all these years is because it was a pain in the neck doing all these little extra digits. Give them shoes, give them boots. Do another one on the other side. And I'm just going to reinforce so I can bend the wire in between the ball of the foot and the ankle, the heel of the foot. I'm just kind of strengthening, reinforcing um, that JB weld over the top. Because if I'm going to go for it and do toes with claws and everything, I want to make sure that everything stays put. Nothing breaks for me. All right, that's looking pretty good. Does the heel need anything? I suppose since I have a little bit left over, just don't make bad decisions because you have some left over. Like that's it goes without saying. So yeah, I'll add a little heel. And the other very um, visible bony protrusions of the body is the heel. It's one of the hardest bones in the body. I think it's the second hardest bone in the body after the one up around your cranium to protect your skull. And I use my tool here. It's pretty tacky still, so it's going to stick to my tool. So maybe kind of bringing that around, giving that bony protrusion a little more life. Hopefully hide that ankle down in there a bit more. And then metal tool, there it goes. And I had my little cup of water. Where'd it go? I probably poured it out just to be, oh, there it is. Got my water. Boom, just need a tiny bit. Don't want to make a mess. All right, just a tiny bit of water. And I can kind of spread this out. Let it really adhere to the material below, whether it's the steel stick or the armature wire. I just kind of want to accentuate that bond, strengthen the bond. And you drag clay, this is a type of clay, right? Polymer clay, epoxy clay. Um, when you drag the surface, it actually creates a stronger molecular bond, at least for ceramic, for dirt, clay, the clay from the earth. Imagine 50 to 80,000 years of evolution of cave people, how much art, charcoal drawing art, and sculptural knowledge we may have had and lost. You see those animations in the Cave of Lost Dreams, those drawings that look like animations across 50,000 years ago. I mean, come on. They knew a lot back then. Star patterns, anatomy, some of those drawings have great perspective, pretty awesome stuff. All right, let's get tacky and sticky. I was thinking of something similar for the back of the knuckle of the hands, perhaps the top of the wrist area back here. So I'm just going to use what little I got left again. I can always grind it down, but I'm also trying to be conscious to not make any dumb decisions here at the finish line. So let's see if you don't have to do this part. I'm just kind of want to strengthen the palm part, at least from the wrist to the um, pointer finger, or middle finger, I'm sorry. Across the palm there. And it didn't quite grab very well, so they're definitely not perfectly symmetrical. Make sure that water's out of the way, and a little knuckle ridge across the back of the hand, kind of like I was doing with the foot. And let's just put a bit right here, just to kind of strengthen that bond again. Can always go in and touch it up later. And yeah, I don't know about this decision, but we'll see. I'm just kind of using what I got. There we go. Okay, leave these a little speck. That looks pretty good. You can go inside here, make sure that's adhered all the way there and between the fingers. Make sure nothing's getting too weird in there. Yeah, you want the pad of the thumb to move around, so I'm not going to put too much more in there. After I'm thinking about it for a minute and like back off. And yeah, I'll just maybe finish sealing these off on the sides of the palm. Sometimes you stop while you're ahead. Uh-oh, I'm feeling broken. Yeah, well, the fingers may have came loose. Yeah, so I wasn't totally making a bad decision. I did have a reason because the JB weld and the super glue for the fingers earlier has come loose on one of my fingers. So I'm really glad to find out about that now, not later after I've finished with the puppet. That would be bad. But strong, strong. Little water. Tuck that back behind. And then go to the loose fingers of this one. Yeah, it's that one. Dang it. That's the middle though. That's the one I wanted. I'm going to go all the way around this sucker like that. And make sure that it is happily adhered to the palm. Happy home. Say hello to my little friend. Let's see. Is it going to stay now? No, it's not. Dang. All right, well, when I do the JB weld for the, yeah, it's right in here. when I do the JB weld for the skull, I will have to take another look at this. It might just be loose inside the cloth, but it doesn't feel like it's just loose inside the cloth. All right, stop while I'm ahead. There we go. We've now magic sculpted out the rest of the body and ready to get the JB weld out and put the head on. Our little wow guy. All right, let's see you on the next video.